Israel, a country at the crossroads of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, is on the brink of making a decision that could redefine the century. And today we will unfold the saga of reclaiming a birthright and rebuilding an iconic place of worship that stands at the heart of three major world religions. Now, Israel is no stranger to religious tensions. In fact, it's practically written into the history books. But guess what? The Jewish people are gearing up to make a historic decision, and they're not letting the current state of war hold them back. But let's rewind a bit. Picture this captivating country called Israel, nestled in the Middle East, surrounded by Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Egypt, and the Mediterranean Sea. It's like a historical hotspot, especially for Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The land has seen it all, from ancient Israelites and Canaanites to empires rising and falling like a real-life Game of Thrones. Fast forward to around 1000 BCE, where the Israelite tribes joined forces under King Saul. King David and King Solomon brought the glam by making Jerusalem the capital and constructing the first temple on the Temple Mount. This temple wasn't just a building. It was the epicenter of worship, where sacred rituals went down, sealing the deal between God and the Jewish people. But here comes the plot twist. After King Solomon's reign, the kingdom split, the temples fell, and empires crumbled. The Babylonians took their shot and destroyed the first temple, cueing the Babylonian exile. Fast forward again to the Persians swooping in, allowing Jewish exiles to return home and rebuild the second temple. In 70 CE, the Romans pulled a move straight out of a history blockbuster. They destroyed the Second Temple during the Jewish-Roman War. Now, in the present day, Israel is facing its most complex decision yet, rebuilding the Third Temple. Imagine this decision being a blockbuster movie with high stakes, drama, and a touch of prophecy from the end times. And here's the kicker. This decision is unfolding against the backdrop of recent rocket barrages from the Gaza Strip. Flashback to the 1920s and 1930s, a time of significant Jewish immigration to Palestine. Seeking refuge from anti-Semitism and persecution in Europe, Jewish immigrants embarked on a transformative journey known as Aliyah. This migration, motivated by the Zionist movement's dream of establishing a Jewish homeland, sparked tensions with the Arab population. Picture this: immigrants buying land and establishing kibbutz and moshavim, all with the goal of creating self-sufficient Jewish communities. It was like a real-life game of settlers reshaping the landscape, contributing to the development of Jewish infrastructure and institutions. Growing Jewish immigration and settlements led to rising concerns among Arab leaders and communities. They feared losing their land and political rights, viewing the demographic shift as a threat to their national identity. Tensions escalated, and you guessed it, clashes between Jewish and Arab communities erupted. Fast forward to May 14, 1948, a pivotal moment in history. David Ben-Gurion, the head of the Jewish Agency and future Prime Minister of Israel, dropped a bombshell: the Israeli Declaration of Independence. This document officially established the State of Israel, emphasizing the deep historical connection between the Jewish people and the land of Palestine. Ben-Gurion underscored the suffering of Jews throughout history, especially during the Holocaust, highlighting the need for a homeland where they could live with freedom and security. The declaration expressed gratitude for the UN General Assembly's resolution recommending the partition of Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states. Now let's talk about the Holy Land, Israel, often referred to as such due to its association with religious events and figures. The spotlight is on Jerusalem, a city of immense spiritual and historical significance, capturing the hearts of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. For Jews, Jerusalem is the heartland, deeply rooted in tradition, with the Western Wall standing as a powerful symbol of their faith. This ancient retaining wall has become a revered site for prayer, pilgrimage, and reflection, embodying the connection between the Jewish people and their faith. And wait for it, Jerusalem is believed to be the future site of the Third Temple. Christians, while not having the same historical attachment, consider Jerusalem as the place associated with the life, crucifixion, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Mount of Olives, and the Garden of Gethsemane all add to the tapestry of Christian significance in the city. The Old City of Jerusalem is a place deeply revered in Islam. The Al-Aqsa Mosque, standing tall, is a spiritual heavyweight, with prophets like Abraham, David, Solomon, and Jesus woven into its religious history. And then there's the iconic Dome of the Rock, a golden beauty that's not just a sight to behold, but a symbol cherished by many. But Jerusalem isn't just a city of spiritual significance. It's a cauldron of religious and political tensions. Jews, for instance, have faced hurdles in finding a place for worship since the days of the First and Second Temples. Enter the proposal for a third temple, a successor in fulfillment of prophecy. Sounds straightforward, right? Wrong. The journey to building this temple has proven to be a wild, complex ride. But it doesn't stop there. The challenges go beyond bricks and mortar. We're talking about navigating a web of religious beliefs, expectations, and let's be real, a whole lot of emotions. For many devout Jews, rebuilding the temple is not just a desire. It's a deep-rooted need, a fulfillment of prophecies dating back millennia. Even within the Jewish community, there are differing views on when and how this reconstruction should go down. Now let's add a pinch of real-world complexity. The Temple Mount isn't just a religious site. It's a political and cultural tinderbox. Jews claim the land, Muslims disagree, and historically, protests have echoed through the streets. The Dome of the Rock, a cherished Muslim site, sits right there, and Jews have been barred from visiting the complex for quite some time. The Sanhedrin is turning heads by getting their hands dirty, literally. They're cultivating farms and forests to recreate ancient environmental conditions. Why? Because plants play a big role in temple rituals, and they're going all out to get it right. But of course, with great power comes great responsibility, and the authority of the Sanhedrin is up for debate. People are questioning their moves and wondering about the environmental impact and ecosystem balance. But that's not the only piece of the puzzle. The Sanhedrin is also on a mission to train the Kohanim, the priestly class in Jerusalem, who are basically descendants of Aaron, Moses' brother. These guys are a big deal in Jewish communities, even without the temple. They hold a revered status and play specific roles in religious ceremonies. So about 2,600 years ago, the book of Daniel dropped some end-time prophecies. Daniel 9:24-27 and Daniel 12:11-12. Now these prophecies are like the Da Vinci Code of religious texts, with scholars and traditions putting on their detective hats and diving into interpretations. First up, we've got Daniel 9:24-27, the 70-week prophecy. It throws around terms like 70 weeks or 77s, leaving scholars scratching their heads. But here's the juicy part. It mentions the rebuilding of Jerusalem and the sanctuary. Some think it's a timeline predicting events related to the Third Temple.